So, as you already know, give me a few more seconds because technically it's not 3 o'clock just yet. But there are things that I will say right now that wish they. I'm waiting on a friend of mine who was open to the idea of joining, but I haven't heard anything from him on anything yet. Literally, I'm sitting here waiting for a friend of mine to either respond or join the live stream because I've actually been brainstorming an idea. So, just so you all are aware, the device I'm on happens to be the tablet that has the cracked screen. So, one of the cracked parts of it happens to go across the time. So, from this angle, it looks like it's showing us 2 o'clock, especially with how small it is, though it's literally 3 o'clock. But I'm going to get into the topic here in just a little bit as soon as I figure something out with my friend here. Biggest thing that I don't like when it comes to texting is when the autocorrect doesn't kick in to correct a certain thing, but it also autocorrects other words and not the words that you are particularly spelling that you know is correct. And it's like, it gets aggravating. Yes, this time I actually have a list of things I'm going to go through for future videos. One of which might actually happen today if my friend will actually respond. I even sent him a link to the live stream and told him that he may have to create an account, but it appears he might be struggling. That or he just probably got busy doing something, which is fine. I'm not against it. I might need to call him here just to see if he's all right. Originally, when I was talking with him, this was like yesterday. He said that he was open to the idea of doing it. And he's like, okay, so 3 o'clock would be as early as I'll start. And he's like, yeah, that should give me enough time to get home from church and get myself changed and be ready by then. I don't think he's ready. I think he may have ended up like going to like snoozing. Though I could be wrong. Also, Scotty, if you're watching this, hey, I do apologize. Yes, the noise you'll be hearing, like thumping, faint noises, that'll be family moving around. All right. In the meantime, while I'm waiting, This my list of things that I will be including. Hmm, one of which won't be for a while, but there are things that will be more of something I will be doing more like several years down the road, and not right now because I am sitting in a financial like bind because I'm not getting paid enough to do certain things. So keep that in mind for future reference. Um, one of the things I'm going to start doing, and this is something I'm going to try to convince my mom into letting me do because I don't have a computer currently. Um, but the thing that I'm going to try to convince her into letting me do is use her computer for like editing the videos that I will be creating. I will say right now, the sound of my voice, just hearing my own voice, I will say right now, I do not care for. It's one of those instances where, as an autistic individual, I don't care for the sound of my own voice. And I know there's a lot of people that don't either. Scotty. StreamYard, if you're watching this, make an app because it's getting rather redundant for at least me to create these live streams because I got to go into Chrome, type in the name for the platform, and then get the rest of it all set up. Whereas that first bit can get eliminated by getting an app created. It seemed like you guys had an app at one point, and I kind of struggled with getting it to work. And then just yesterday, I had tried looking for it through my app store, and I didn't see anything that had the logo in it. So, words of encouragement, get that app created. Anyways, moving into the list of my things I'm looking into doing. I'm not sure how accurate this would be by order of items that I have, but I'm looking into doing a little bit of role playing. I'm not a huge like geek for dressing up, but I do like to role play a little bit depending on the situation. Um, Another thing that I will be doing are interviews. Now you're going to probably ask, what kind of interviews? It will be based off of interest alongside with getting to know people. In addition to interviews, that interviews would also fall under this next item that I will be doing. I'm actually looking into creating a second channel for this particular one. I'm looking into doing podcasts. I'm not sure what about just yet, but ideas are welcome. I will actually create a Google Forms that I will be linking in my next live stream or next video that I will post with like a form for you guys to fill out for ideas that you would like to see. This will be one of those. Actually, I might put it in the bio of my channel. Now that I think about it, although my Gmail account seems to have a hard time like processing Google Forms for some reason. So, but any and all suggestions are warmly welcome. Also, I do apologize in advance if I kind of like pause for a minute. It's because I'm trying to hear what's going on in the rest of the house. I'm also kind of still getting thrown off by my mirroring because I'm raising my right hand at the moment. If I go to my left, it goes to the right. which is kind of weird. But that's basically my end. Um, that's funny. Apparently, I'm now just noticing this. I got games listed twice on my list here. I will say though, I am looking into doing more live streams with Twitch. I'm also going to start doing live streams through a platform called Rumble. Now, some of you are going to be like, what's Rumble? Yeah, I would tell you. It's also a like streaming platform. And it's an icon that looks like a triangle, like a somewhat violet purpley icon. I have a feeling that my family's going to go out and do something, and it's only. I don't like daylight savings, I promise. Like, I don't like it when it gets dark later. Yeah, I'm that type of person that likes it when it gets dark earlier. Where was that? Stop right there. So games are going to be one of those things where I will be doing like more on my PlayStation alongside with my Switch. My Switch, I haven't figured out how to do like recordings on it just yet, but let's see, what did I do? There you are. Excuse me, I've been burnt out easily lately. Anyways, but the one thing that I will say right now is I am looking forward to the involvement of the list I got here, and the rest goes as follows. I'm looking into doing challenges that an individual that may have autism may struggle with, and prove that challenges can be challenging, but in a fun way. I, at some point, will talk about my childhood. I'm also actually going to see if I can get some. I'm going to try if I can see if I can get my mom to lend me a thumb drive that has a lot of videos of like just me and my siblings growing up and compiling them on here on YouTube. Um, I'm still exploring Rumble, by the way. I do have an account. I just haven't gotten the chance to really explore Rumble that much. Though I will try to start posting there. I will also leave a link down in the description or in wherever the About page is. Um, that one and that one are going to be a little bit later, depending on certain situations. I'm one of those type that also enjoys a good train trip. So I'm also thinking of doing a train, like some certain reviews that are basically in the followings. I do enjoy a good train trip, a good plane trip, although I am a little bit picky about certain things such as a plane trip, only because okay, this bit's weird, but I'm not a huge fan of being like high up, but for some reason my mind seems to be okay with being in an airplane, which I kind of question. But plane reviews, train reviews, product reviews, reviews for like food, hotel reviews, motel reviews. And now I will not go to abandoned parks or anything that involves being like going to places that are abandoned because I don't want to get myself in trouble. Now you're probably thinking, well, don't you want to live and learn? Well, I live and learn, but in two separate like mental universe worlds or whatever you want to call it. Anyways, but that's another thing. And then I'm gonna go into, and this will tie with a few others. One being my autism being the main thing, but I will talk about I'll talk about how it's so hard for people to find jobs that are having to be autistic alongside with hygiene, being able to create that social circle, and being able to read. And then I also have a few hobbies of my own that I'm getting into. Um, yeah, if you will excuse me momentarily, I am going to see if I can get a hold of my friend. So it appears he might be busy doing something, which is not a problem, but that isn't going to stop me though. Um, but backing into the list of things I'm going to be doing, um, I'm also working on a few projects at the moment, of which I'm just making these little trivets. They're not like the best of trivets, but only because with the project I've done in the past, the yarn I'm using happens to be having all of these little knots. If you look there, but yeah. But I'm actually looking into at some point, say in several months, probably at least in the next 6 months, I'm gonna probably looking to start doing like putting together ideas for merchandise. Um, though it's not gonna be easy to start with because there is gonna be that shipping fee. So I'm gonna start to keep it local to start with. So if you're in the Utah area, like stayed alone, I will encourage you look into coming or doing a little bit of, well, I shouldn't say that just yet, but at some point I am going to start doing like merchandise with the channel. It's currently a struggle for me because I am trying to figure out like how much it will cost me to get myself a laptop, one that will allow me to edit videos, though it's not going to be easy because again, I'm only working a part-time job. I will say though, why are you being a pain in the butt? Come on, be nice. I will say though, it will benefit me a little bit, not by much, and I don't expect much, but I hope it'll be benefiting me to some extent. But as you already can tell by the title, I'm going to talk about my autism. And then, depending on interest on this video, I will go on to the next bit of the topic of autism. So today I'm going to be talking about, and I was hoping my friend would join, but it appears he's busy doing stuff. Being autistic is one of those challenging things that I face almost every day. And it's been one of those things where it stresses my mom out. And I don't even try to stress her out personally and honestly. In fact, I try to not stress anyone out for that matter. And I've been diagnosed since from the age of as early as 4. And I there have been more days where I would like in my room like I am now and just sit there thinking, I wish I was not diagnosed with ADHD and autism, because it's been one of those things that would stress the living crap out of my mom almost constantly. All right, I gotta sit at a different angle because my legs are starting to cramp up a bit. Excuse me. I will say right now I am trying to keep an eye on my messages though, just because my friend might pitch in at some point. Though he might end up with no connection, which I would find kind of ironic. Now, I also will forewarn the channel that most of the time I will be doing my live streams in that room because I don't have a room to do like the special effects that everyone else does. But that's only for who knows how long. Anyways, but being autistic has brought me so many challenges that cause me to break down mentally and then not be able to verbalize to a certain length of time. And I personally find it rather frustrating. Sorry, that was weird. I was just seeing something on my screen that was just being like weird just now. That was weird. Why? What was that? Also, I do apologize if tablet dies on me. And no, I've got my tablet fully charged. It's just it was just being weird. So, anyways, but yeah, like I said before, it brings me challenges that I tend to like break down upon for whatever reason. And I'm not doing that. I don't break down like this like I normally do because I don't want to do it. It's because it tends to kick the autism into play and then overload it, causing me that's where it causes me to actually have that breakdown. So I will say it now, for those that have been stressed out because of me with that issue, I do apologize. I didn't have I don't mean to cause you any stress or anxiety. It's just a natural thing for me to do. I've recently been going through a withdrawal of some kind where I'm used to working 8 hours a day, and this was starting as of last year. I still hate to this day working 8 hour shifts, but I've gotten to a point where I would remind myself on how I should get through the day without needing to hate having to work the 8 hour shift that I'm scheduled. And this was when I was working as a seasonal position for a seasonal employee for a pest control company. I'm not going to say the name just yet because I don't want to deal with them getting on me for mentioning their name just yet. So, but the company that I did work for last year as a seasonal employee, I loved because they've treated me so well. Sure, I've had a few days where I had a mental breakdown, but it's one of those instances where I did it silently, which actually helped by a ton because it's one of those instances where it's not like physically overwhelming to me. Now, to some of you, you may not like understand that or fully like comprehend how that works. And to me, right now, my biggest thing, well, several of my biggest things that I'm struggling with are as follows. I tend to not like fully understand what an email fully shows, but I will say right now, I've learned this not just by physical people teaching me this, but also through a channel of which I actually will link down in the description, say in the next little bit here, because I'm actually kind of in the middle of working on putting several trivets together. Um, in fact, I'll even put if you go to channels, I don't know if that's even an option with my account right now, but I'll even put this as a shout out to, sorry, I'm like rather relaxed at the moment. Anyways, back to what I was saying. I'm actually going to kind of like just lay here and not really focus on the screen at the moment, so I do apologize if I don't see much. Only just because it's going to allow me to actually pull things out of the back of my head and not go type of thing. Few things to keep in mind is I tend to struggle with the following. I struggle with social cues, social circles, having to understand certain emails that are considered to be scams. And I've actually learned that there are like key points to knowing what a scam email looks like. The first red flag that I've learned that I've always looked out for, and I'd always forward it to this one particular channel's email because that's where I've been told to send it to, because this channel called Scammer Payback, and like I said, I'll link that in the channel section of my account. They basically mess with the even like people that send those emails, and it's pretty amusing, which I would encourage to go check them out. Matter of fact, if you're eager to check that channel out, I would actually go search that now while you're able to like search it up now and while it's fresh on your mind. See, there I go again, unprofessional. But if you guys have any tips on what I could do to improve this, then that would benefit me a little bit. Let's see. There I go again. One other thing that I know for a fact that tends to be a struggle for a lot of people who have autism is finding a job. For me, yes, it's a difficult thing for me to do to find a job that will suit my needs, or needs, quote unquote. Um, but I've learned that by law, excuse me, by law, businesses are not supposed to deny anybody, even if you have a disability, businesses are not supposed to deny the opportunity to at least have an interview. It's even in the agreement, if I read correctly, in most applications. If you're a business manager and you're watching this, don't take this the wrong way, but this is just me putting it out there in the open as an individual who has autism. And I do tend to like to call myself on occasion as an autistic idiot. And I mean that in a good term. Only because being an autistic idiot brings great joy to me because it allows me to know that I will satisfy whoever is looking to hire me. If you're watching this and you wish to get a hold of me, I'm actually going to see if I can get a hold of my other account email because originally there was a channel that I did create that apparently I didn't get to really post much on, which I'm going to use that one for mainly to upload. Yeah, I think about it, I might just start doing that more often. Anyways, but the channel, I'm actually going to link that in the bio. I may have already, I'd have to look, but I'm, like I said, I know I tend to go a lot, and I know I tend to not really have much enthusiasm or entertaining like leeways of any kind. I do apologize for that because I know that's more satisfying to like just get intrigued by. But with the current state that I'm going through, it's one of those instances where it's how can I put it? It's not easy for me to be facetious at times, but at the same time, kind of tend to get a little too much. And I will say though, I hope, I do hope my friend does respond though, because I was hoping that he would join, but apparently I think he might be struggling to get it to work. I wonder. Okay, give me a moment. I don't know if it's going to pause it or not, but okay, I think I know where I think I know where he's going wrong with the thing, but sorry, I'm looking at something for work. I swear, honestly, some people, and don't get me wrong, some people tend to drive me nuts because of the things that they tend to say. I'm going to say, with where I'm working, apparently some of my coworkers think that our boss creates a toxic environment. No, our boss creates a fun environment. if you're the type to be strict about everything and not include like a facetious aspect of things, then you may want to reconsider that. Now, I've gone through my fair share of like seeing like being an employee of different places, especially with my current place that I'm working at. I will say right now, there are some people out there that are strict about everything with no enjoyment in life. And then there are people that I've been employed under that are strict about things but are open minded. One of the coworkers that I have is like trying to like saying one thing but or says that he's saying one thing but means the complete opposite, and it's like, yeah, it's not going to look well for him currently because everyone but him is like fine with it all, but it's just some people are like struggling to do certain things. Anyways, but yeah, so moving into another bit. So a few other things. It seemed like I had one other thing, and I'm just trying to think. Oh, um, I know this tends to fall under a lot of people, but this one is a particular one that I've seen in myself and my dad. And I can see this with a lot of other people who fall under this category. If you are deemed with ADHD, ADD, and or autism, the biggest thing I've learned that people will do is struggle with answering a yes or no question. I happen to fall under that category because I get that part of that bit from my dad partially. Nothing against it. It's just, yes, it's been one of those habits that I'm trying to break from doing and actually processing whatever the question is. And I know what a yes or no question is. If you were to ask me a yes or no question now, mind you, if this is something you're watching after the live stream ended, then there may be that chance that I won't see the question until the next live stream. But if you were to ask me a yes or no question, I would probably just extend that question by a totally different like thing that would make no sense that doesn't pertain to the question. I will say right now, there have been things that I've learned from watching the YouTube shorts from a gentleman by Law by Mike, who I don't know what field of like laws he like went to get his degree in, but there's a lot of things that I've learned that he is very informative in on, of which I'm not going to go into because he's got it all put in. So go visit his channel as well. And I'm going to see what my friend is up to because apparently he is taking forever to respond. And yes, that's another big thing that I struggle with is patience. Anyways, but for now, I am going to give it call it a afternoon because I need to see what's going on with his end. So I will see you guys next week.